So, I'll tell you what, if you're watching this on YouTube after the event, you've just missed a right conversation. And I'm going to take we're starting in a bit. He's off the screen. Woo! We've started, ladies and gentlemen! A full 4 minutes late because there was slight confusion about how Adam urinates.
No, don't. Let's not start this again.
If you'd explained yourself properly,
let it die. Please
wouldn't have happened.
Please let the system sink die.
But look,
stand up with me.
But look,
when we start our merch store, that'll be. Anyway, carry on.
Yes, we could just have the Adam's design on a T-shirt.
We can have overthrow the system on a T-shirt.
Overthrow the system.
Yes.
Okay.
If you like, yeah.
If we're going to start selling merch, then we do need more than 10 viewers a week.
Yes. Right, can we start?
Yeah.
Yeah, all right then.
First thing people will notice is that, again, there's 6 of us. Because, ladies and gentlemen, it's Tom Allsop, ladies and gentlemen.
Good evening, everyone. Good evening.
He's my favourite.
Thanks, Mike.
Rob Kemp's crying now, just so you know. Rob Kemp is crying.
Yeah, Rob Kemp's crying now.
Hello, Rob Kemp.
Hello. Right, but before we start, because Tom, you're going to tell us a wonderful story tonight. But before we start, it's Hannah. You pointed out to everyone this afternoon that it's our birthday.
Yeah, it's our first birthday.
Hey! So we've got cake. Or I've got cake. Who's got cake?
I've got a Tunnocks tea cake.
I wish they were that big in real life. Just like
can you imagine?
The size of your own head.
Imagine it.
Marks and Spencer's used to do one really big one that was like too much money for me to even look at without crying.
Does anyone want to guess what I've got?
Oh, what have you got? What's
slab?
Is it cheesecake? Is it cheesecake?
Chocolate cheesecake.
Is it?
Chocolate cheesecake. Right, no.
I can't.
What's it in half, Dave?
Fudge cake.
Is it a chocolate?
Is it a Viennetta? Is it a Viennetta, Dave?
Not a Viennetta. Right.
Have you taken a ginger cake, like a lion's
look at
syrup cake and dipped it in chocolate?
This.
Oh, is that a Jaffa cake one? Oh, Jaffa cake.
No. Oh, I've got all chocolate all over my keyboard. Hold on.
You're living the dream.
I am indeed living the dream.
It's like an Alan Bennett play.
I remember cutting into the cake as I stood on my podcast.
It's a lemon layer cake. Look at that. No expense spent.
£1.
Cottage bakery. That way you can have a lovely cake and so.
Come on, dude. I've got a mouth for a cheesecake.
That's what he said.
Yay!
So
I like to think we've grown a lot in the past year.
Yeah, we really have. Bats has got.
I'm a father now.
So you were a father to Pixie?
I was a surrogate.
I've just put quite a lot of cake in my mouth. I shouldn't have done that.
You animal. You beast.
Right. So you can eat your cake. What have you got, Steph?
I've got very posh Sainsbury's coffee and walnut cake. But to like bring down the posh in me, because let's face it, we all know who I am. I have Aldi wine.
Yay!
Yeah.
Now.
And I also have work tomorrow, so let's just have the one glass.
Tom also, you ate cake earlier.
Have one glass.
What cake did you eat earlier?
It was a Bosch vegan chocolate cake, not a whole one.
Bosch, as in it was made in a dishwasher.
Well, no.
What it tastes like.
Giving yourself away there. So Bosch.
Could you talk us?
They are.
Could you talk us through the plumbing system? No
more plumbing.
What I do, Mike. Right, I've got the tap on. Yeah, no, it was a chocolate cake, and it's really good. They're very good.
I've heard they're nice, those. Yeah.
They're really good. Yeah, they do. There's a chocolate one which is really good, but there's the lemon drizzle one which is very good. And I think my lemon drizzle might be my favourite cake.
It's a good one. It's a good option.
And it's a pleasing amount of drizzle to cake.
The ratio is important.
It's nicely moist. I'll say that.
Nice.
I'll
You
leave
can't
that.
say moist on a podcast.
I think you
Like,
can. Well,
Can
you
I
and
just
I
say-
clearly
That's a word,
disagree.
isn't it?
Too late.
Come here.
You can.
Oh yeah, you can't get in.
Fine.
Can I just say,
Damn.
Fee's just come in and nicked my cake.
That fees are.
She's a good woman.
I've just googled the Bosch cake and that looks good.
It's dead good. It's really tasty.
dear
They're very tasty. They're very good. You get them in. We got I think Tesco. There's a couple of supermarkets starting stocking them. They're really good.
I'm eating another one.
Mikey, is your mum watching and just thought, hey, he's in the dark there. Get the lights on. Just put the lights on. He's not there in the dark.
it wasn't mum this time. It was a sister.
Was it?
Oh,
On the system.
Assistant?
No, don't mention the sister. Right.
Nah, I'm all good.
What we're here for is stories, and
Yeah.
we had the wonderful Rob Kemp on a couple of weeks back.
Love Rob.
We all love Rob Kemp.
And I'd just like to make the point. He is wonderful.
He's
I
wonderful.
was joking.
Not your favourite though, Mikey.
Yeah, Fee's eating the cake. Thanks, Fee. Yes, we all love Rob Kemp, don't we?
Yeah.
See, some people are nodding more than others. That's all I'm saying. But Tom, you've got this brilliant story. Now, if anyone's ever met Tom and been around him for about 10 minutes, they've probably heard this story.
I have heard it a lot. The only
But it's
I do like
worth it.
telling you.
It's worth it. So,
So yeah, so this
in fact,
obviously-
let's hold on. So, ladies and gentlemen, Tom Alsop.
Yay!
Rona.
This story happened and is real and is all true. And it's a road story. It's a stand-up comedian road story, of which there are many, and like almost all of them, they involve Paul Savage. This one involves Paul. So back when I started doing stand, and I didn't really do stand-up for that long. I don't really do it now. I'm doing a lot of poetry and stuff at the minute and various things, but I didn't do stand-up comedy for very long, and I didn't do an awful lot of gigs really. But toward the beginning, I hadn't been doing it all that long, and Savage was every now and again he'd ring me and say, "Oh, I've got a gig. Do you want to come along with that?" And we did quite a few journeys together, and he rang me and said, "Oh, I've got a gig. It's up in Lincoln. It's a bit of a trek, but it's still up in the air at the minute." And you know, when he kept saying things, and looking back, I should have known something was going to happen, because he said, I don't know yet if it's definitely happening, because he's not been very well, the promoter, and I'm communicating a lot with his mom, and his mom's saying she doesn't think he's up to it, but then he'll text me and say, "It's fine, it's definitely going ahead." So he said, I'm going to wait. He said, "So get ready, and I'm going to let you know. We'll have to set off at about 3 o'clock on Saturday afternoon to get there in time, ready to find the gig. So be ready." So I said, okay. And then the next day he texted me, he said, "Oh, by the way, he's asked us if we'll dress in suits, if we'll dress smartly." Now, I know some of you have done stand-up, and some of you will now stand-up comedy. Well, it's very rarely that a gig says, "By the way, dress nice." Again, alarm bell should have rang.
Can I stop you there? Can I stop you there,
Yeah.
Tom? Steph, as someone who's done a lot of stand-up, thoughts?
Not a lot.
Well, yeah, but you've done a
I
fair
turned
bit.
up.
Yeah. Thoughts initially on this? This is the gig. You've met Paul Savage, yeah?
I mean,
He's
as
lovely
a
guy.
woman on stand-up, if someone said, "I need you to dress a particular way," I would be going, "Oh dear." Oh no.
Oh no, thank you.
I think I'm
No.
suddenly, I feel like I'm definitely going to have a cold that day. Yeah, but no.
You become that meme of Ralph in The Simpsons just going, "I'm in danger."
So, were you feeling any fear at this point, Tom?
Not fear, because to be honest, at that point, right, I was just really enjoying gigging, and I thought I was just nice to be out, really. So I thought, and I never thought much of it, and I didn't want to be. And you know that thing when you're like new-ish at something, and you don't want to be like the dick who asks the stupid question.
Yeah, you don't want to be that guy.
If he texts me, I'll just text back going, "Yeah, fair enough, mate." And I never, after I've thought about what he could possibly have texted me, that I would have gone, you know what, Paul, I'm not feeling, and I don't think anything would have done it. I don't think anything would have done it. So we get to the day, and even in the morning, he's like, I haven't heard from him. I'm not sure. I haven't heard from him, but just be ready, and I'll let you know. And I sort of thought, this is definitely not going to happen now. I'm going to light a barbecue. I'm going to have it after this. Be fine. So then he messaged me saying, we're definitely on. He's just messaged me, so we're definitely on. I'm coming to pick you up. So pick me up in the car, and we set off. And on the way, he said we're not picking up from his house. He said I think he's doing volunteer work. He said because he's told me to pick him up from the hospital. He said I think he must be doing like either portion or he must be doing some volunteer work. I think he said because we're going to get him from there once he's finished. So okay, fair enough. We carry on. The car journey's like 3 hours, and passing with chatting away. Never once crosses our mind with anything untoward still. So we're tanking up the motorway, and we get to the hospital, and we pull up at the entrance of the hospital, right? And Paul's having his car, and Paul rings him. And again, this is where alarm bells should have been ringing, but the phone rings and rings and rings, and then in a stage whisper, he answers, and we hear, hello. Paul says, hello, mate, we're outside with to pick you up. Oh, yeah, I can't get out just yet. Can you just hang on a minute? Like, yeah, okay, yeah, we'll just wait. He said, yeah, I'll be out as soon as I can. Just wait there. Phone goes dead. So, I swear I'm not making any of this up.
In any other industry, this story would end with you being murdered.
Right.
Yeah.
So, there are points in this story, Adam, where I wouldn't have ruled that out. Right. So, we're in the car, and as we're sat there, just chatting, and by this point, I'm starting to think, this isn't exactly what I thought it was going to be. A car pulls up behind us, and a Domino's pizza man gets out with a stack of pizzas like that, right? Goes in through the entrance.
The hospital?
Into the hospital. I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, that's odd. We didn't. Just sat there in the car.
Are you dressed in like a suit as well? Like
No, we've got a suit hanging in the back seat either side. I mean,
okay, right.
we look equally as unusual as the story. At this point, we are by no
You're
means
part of the weird.
regular in the middle. We're very much in the side. So anyway,
Have you got the suits hung on the passenger? Have you got the suits hung on the passenger door? You know the hooks on
the businessman's wardrobe. Yeah, they're hanging on the rail at the back. They're on the hook on the back, right? So
I've always wondered who used those.
Just me and Savvy. Domino's pizza man goes in, right? Domino's pizza man goes in, and at that, the guy who's booking us for the gig comes running out, right? Literally out of the back seat of the car, gets in the car, on the back door, gets in the back seat, closes the door, right, go on, lads, we're going to be late. So Paul starts the car and drives off, and off into the night. So Paul's got his phone on the dashboard.
Did he smell like pizza?
He didn't smell like pizza. I was thinking, anyway, so while Paul's he's trying to get Google Maps to work, and like it's the only time I've been to Lincoln, and a lot of it I can't remember because I was concentrating on various things.
Don't go back. It's not worth
Well, I'll tell you now, Adam. I'm not welcome back.
Hello, everyone in Lincoln. Hello, Lincoln.
Hello, Lincoln. Hello.
They don't have internet.
So anyway, we get to we start off and Paul's saying, "Have you got the postcode to the gig?" He said, what's the venue? He said, "Oh, don't worry about that. I'll just direct you." So it's at that point that Paul shoots me a look, and it's the first of many that suggests this isn't okay. And he looks at me with a sort of, okay. So he starts going left down here, right down here, and we steadily get on narrower and narrower roads until eventually we're not on a road. We're just driving through a field, virtually.
Oh my god! Oh my god! I have watched a lot of CSI, and this is like
no way I should be here, right? Look. So as we're driving along, the guys, I've never met this bloke before. I think Paul had done a few gigs with him or for him before, I think. I might be misremembering that, so I'm not sure. But I'd never met him before, never spoken to him before. And he was talking, but he was talking pretty quick and wasn't really making a lot of sense. I thought, he's really nervous, this lad. It's a bit odd. Anyway, eventually, after
maybe it's just pre-show nerves.
That's what I thought, Mikey, but it wasn't. So we drive we pull up at a church hall in literally the middle of nowhere. There's not an artificial light on the horizon anywhere. Except this building. It was like Royston Daisy. Right? We pull up, we get out the car, and I'm convinced we're going to get there and it be locked up and there's going to be nobody there. Right? So we bang up, knock on the door opens, and a very nice man with a very surprised look on his face answers the door. Opens the door, he's like, "Oh, hello." Me and Paul are like, "Hello, we're you comedians?" And he was like, "Oh, God. Okay, right, all right." And the lad behind us, who was like booking the gig, he was like, yeah, we're here. And the guy was like, I was told this wasn't going to happen. And he was like, no, all right. Where are we setting up? So we go in, and everyone in the room is, at this point, not quite glaring at us, but staring. Like,
how many people were there?
Probably about 30, 35 people. So for me, that was the Palladium. That was
Like, shut level of weirdness. What the fuck?
So we go through, and the guy's like, "Well, we weren't really sure what was happening," and then he said to the lad, "We'd spoke to your mum, and she was pretty sure it was." He's, "Oh, never mind that. Never mind." I was thinking, everyone's speaking to this lad's mum. Why is everyone speaking to his mum? Still never really put two and two together. We go. He said, "Well, we're all out back." He said, "We're out the back." It was summertime. We went out the back, and it was a church hall barbecue. That's where we were. We were at a barbecue at a church hall.
Yeah.
Not set up for a live comedy event in any way. Just benches and people like with buns waiting for a sausage. All of them like pointing and looking at us and like nudging each other. What's going on here with these lads? Anyway, so we got fed. They gave us a hot dog. We're not quite ready for it. Well, hang on a minute. We'll get set up. So they start pulling benches into rows and corralling kids out the way, and that was an alarm bell because by then I hadn't got a clean set together, so I was rapidly going through and checking. That's not going to get down well.
Don't
and I saw
we've all been there.
I'm relieved you got fed. To be honest.
I wouldn't have got any. I never had at this point, Paul and I have realised that there's been something isn't right, but we can't quite put our finger on what. So Paul's like, "This is weird, isn't it?" And at that, I suddenly was like, "Yes, it is."
Like the bubble burst, and you were like, "What are we doing?"
Oh, this is hard, isn't it? I don't think Malcolm McIntyre. Malcolm.
Do you know what I mean? And I was going to be that guy who's like, "This is weird," and then everybody be like, "No, it's not. This is the road, pal. Get it." Do you know what I mean?
This is what it's like. Noob.
I came into this industry for the glamour.
Immediately, all of my sense of like, this will be okay, vanished, and I was like, "Oh my God, this is horrendous. This is awful.
This is Summer Isle."
Honestly, this is like, my family are never going to see me again. How are they going to explain this at my funeral? People are going to be like, "Well, this is ridiculous."
Well, he just went into Lincolnshire and never came back.
You wouldn't be the first person, and you wouldn't be the last.
They said, and then we started to get the questions that you kind of get when you do a gig that isn't really a gig. They were like, "Well, how long can you do?" I was like, "Well, I'll talk all day if you want." I don't know.
How long do you want? Yeah.
I'm not sure. In the meantime, our promoter's behaviour has become increasingly like unusual, and like there's a piano in the corner, and he's just randomly pressing piano keys, and we started to realise that something's not right. So anyway, we say, "Well, okay, so let's." And then Paul says, "Let's get our suits on." So we did. So there we are. Looking.
Because you were like, "This, I need to look good in case this is how my body's found."
And the fact that you would have been funeral ready.
Yeah. Didn't have to do anything to it.
How close was the audience to putting on like a Venetian mask and cape?
Yeah.
But what's brilliant was, right, no one in the room knew what was going on. So we didn't know what had happened. Afterwards, I thought about it from their point of view, right? Middle of a barbecue where everyone you know is there, 3 men arrive and go, "We are comedians." I mean, they're probably like, "Well, this is what these people, we better let them eat."
Yeah, just do as they say so they don't shank us or whatever they used to do.
I've heard this about stand-up comics. They will just have an entire house hostage with it on the bus story until they give you all the money.
I was thinking, oh, this is a bit unusual. I've crashed a church barbecue. If only that was
Oh no!
So we then Paul's like, well, how are we going to do this? There's only 2 of us. There's no empty. There's no nothing. There's no walk up. None of the things. So Paul, I'll tell
Did
you
you tap dance?
So Paul,
Please tell me you tap dance.
God, he's not done anything really. Just said, Paul. But then Paul says, and obviously this, in months to come, I might have been more stringent about this. Paul went, tell you what, you go on first.
Cheers, thanks.
You go first.
He said, you go on first. He said, while you go on, he said, I'm gonna text his mum just to see what the crack is. I'm not. I don't know, but I don't. So anyway, he said, I'll do you a superstar intro, and I was like, okay, so what are you going to say to these 30 people who've no idea who I am? But carry on.
No microphone or anything.
I could imagine Paul Savage going up and saying, "Ladies and gentlemen, lamb slaughter."
Virtually that bad. So I bear in mind, I'm stood on the step. It's like out the little kitchenette in the church hall. I'm stood on the back step, out the back door, talking.
On the back step.
At a barbecue. Right? While I'm talking.
At any point, have you or Paul Savage looked at each other and gone, character building?
It's a living.
Don't worry, Paul. One day I'll retell this story on a podcast.
We came to an arrangement about this story because there was a book out. Somebody did a book collecting road stories, and he wrote a version of it, and it's in that book. You can read it. And he was like, "You better tell this story on stage because I'm not sure I'll be able to tell this story on stage." There's those things where it's like, "This is great, but I'm not sure I could do it." Yeah. So anyway, but he So while I'm ambling through 20 minutes of not really stand up, just me half talking to a group of people I've never met and half trying to remember what I normally say, I can see Paul pacing up and down behind the crowd, increasingly.
No fairness. That's half of my first year of university.
So I'm standing there
with you.
And as I'm half talking and I'm half looking at him, and I see him look at his phone and the colour go from his face, right? And I'm like, at that point, I'm like, anyway, I've been there, I've been Tom Allsop. This has been unusual. I said, good night.
God bless, and I'll be over here.
I don't know what I'm not sure what you say, but
lovely burgers,
all sorts. So that's what that. So I come off and I was like, there's going to be a little bit of a break now, and then there'll be Paul Savage walk off. Paul's like, by this point, looking very, very unhappy. He turns my phone round to text me, and Paul's text to go, "Is so okay? We picked him up like we asked him. We were at the gig. We're just a bit worried about him." And immediately in block capitals, the message was like, "Oh my God, where are you? People are looking for him. What's going on? Are you okay? Is he okay? Ring me now." We're like, "Oh my God." So at that, Paul says, "I'm going to go and ring him and just see what's what." Anyway, so he's at the phone and leaving me with the promoter to sort of chat. And the guy from the church, he's like, "Oh, we're just really glad you could make it this year." And I was like, yeah, it's been really good. But anyway, I'm just waiting for your colleague to come back. He comes in looking worse. Can I have a minute? I said, yeah, all right. He said, now this isn't that funny, right? But when it turns out all right, but he said, "Oh, well, so... just to put in a picture, we have broken him out of a mental health hospital where he was by legal apparatus, and what's happened is a group of people organised a breakout, only one of them had thought to arrange a getaway car. The rest of them were picked up in the grounds of the hospital, because what we hadn't noticed was when the Domino's pizza man went in, so they'd called, well, this is what we've worked out after, they called the Domino's pizza man who looked very confused, arrived with pizzas, and while the staff at the front were like, I don't think anyone's ordered any, I'm not sure, are we allowed pizza? I don't know if we can have pizza. I don't know what we're going to do with it now. While that conversation was happening, 6 people, I think it was 6 people, left the building. 5 of them were picked up in the ground wandering about because they couldn't get out. One of whom had got in a vehicle and tazzed off into the night. So then Paul was like, so yeah, the police have like, the word roadblock was used. They had like...
The word roadblock was used?
He said the police have like stopped people on the motorway to try and like check, where they've got to. So his mum reckons it's really important that we get him back as quick as we can. But obviously, he's not going to be very happy about that. And he was taking some incredibly powerful medication, which by now is no longer having any effect on him. And in fact, the lack of those is bad. So we need to get him back now. So then we have to say to this guy at the church, so here's what's happened. And at that, he went, oh, well, that explains everything. So what? There's a moral here.
What?
He was just like, oh, right, that's the only explanation for him just being a bit weird on text messages.
The moral of the story is to call things what they are. You cannot tell people via text people have been a bit unwell, because that's
yeah.
The weird all thought he'd had like a cough.
Yeah, the flu.
No, he'd been in hospital.
He'd been literally sectioned.
His own, which I'm pretty sure he'd been sectioned. I don't know that for a fact, but I'm pretty sure he'd been sectioned. So we then got him back. We said, oh well. But then we were both like, well, that was a good gig, wasn't it? And he's like, yeah, you did really well. I'll definitely book you again. We're like, okay, brilliant. Got him back in the car, drove back to the hospital, and like, by this point, he was like, he wasn't very well. I gather he's sort of now much better and has been helped greatly. But at the time, he was, really not very well. So we then arrived at the hospital and like knocked the door, and we're like, we brought your person back.
Here's someone.
Sorry that we took him. We didn't know we were taking him and that he was supposed to stay here. We thought he worked here, and they were like, nope. Got him back into the hole, but then Paul and I had like a 3.5 hour
conversation though. Like, it's hello. Do you know the person? So, very funny. All these roadblocks and whatnot. Well, we had him in Lincoln at a church fete. It was absolutely amazing.
Roadblocks.
There were hot dogs. He couldn't miss it.
We were like,
oh, what, the suit? Don't worry about that.
So we turn up at the hospital door, and we're both dressed in suits with a very unwell man.
You're like 2 pallbearers who have arrived early.
You look like Undertakers.
It's totally horrible. And we were sort of said to them, we were both like, we've brought him back as though that somehow excuses we abducted him. Really, I mean, but then we had like a 3.5 hour car journey home, just the 2 of us. Where I was like, I'm not really ready to process what
Right, I need to check something, because I'm certain this is the fact. You've turned up at a hospital,
yeah,
dressed in suits. The words pallbearers were mentioned. Am I right in thinking Paul Savage drove in his state car?
No.
Hang on. I could have sworn he drove in his... I thought, could you imagine him turning like Paul drivers in an estate car?
I drove the estate car, Dave. It was me with the black estate car, because I used to borrow my dad's. I'm pretty sure it was you and Ben that drew little gravestones in the condensation one night and sent me on my merry way. Because that was a conversation I had to explain to my dad.
There is a recollection of that in my head.
Yeah.
Am I the only one who thinks the most amazing part of this story is that this man had managed to book himself a comedy gig?
From
arrange a comedy gig, yeah?
Yeah.
And we couldn't. Paul tried to find out. He might have subsequently done. I don't know. He tried to find out subsequently, like how long how long he'd been unwell for and how long he'd been in the hospital, because Paul was saying it was all done via text. He'd message Paul, and you know it's like on the someone texts you, so can you come in and do this gig? And you're like, yeah, you know what I mean. That's not in any way like out of character at all.
Yeah.
But then the people at the church that I think they'd contacted him to book a gig. Then they'd spoke to his mom, and his mom had said he can't book gigs. He's unwell. They misunderstood, and then they'd been put in the picture by his mum. They'd actually phoned her and said, I think I might be misremembering this, but I think she then said to them, he's in hospital. He's not. It's definitely not going to happen. So they'd rearranged and said, well, I've barbecue, and said that's fine, no problem. And then we showed up, so they were very, very confused and obviously concerned because they didn't know. Obviously, was that one very poorly person, 2 comedians? Was it 3 very poorly people?
Oh God, yeah. Oh God.
I mean,
Yeah.
So in their kindness and in their willingness to be, and I don't like to broad brush stereotype people, but if you are a Christian, then being welcoming to strangers is sort of a little bit of
Part of the deal, yeah.
the book, yeah.
Invariably, and if I don't know if any of you guys have done like church gigs or done like Christian centre gigs, they're always amazing. I did a few, and they're really lovely. There's like, there's food and drink, and there's always very welcoming and really nice atmosphere. So they're faultlessly polite and kind of welcoming, which is great. Except that if that had been anywhere else, I think someone would have gone, "Well, we didn't book any comedians. What are you doing?"
They'd go, I thought you were in the asylum. Like,
oh, we better go, and gone off. We wouldn't have made them. And it was a bit like, when you go to a birthday party for a kid, for like a little kid, and their parents say, "Oh, they've done a show for you," and you have to sit there and like watch the show. I'm saying that like I'm not going to be. That's totally going to be like us, if not already. We already subject people to them on Facebook every other day, and then although they seem to like it, so it's fine. But like when you're at that, we were like those people. We were like, well, we're doing a show for you, so you can eat your food, but hush up now. We're going to do some comedy. And they were all like, at the end, they were all like, well, that was great. I don't know what to do anyway. Just
because
honestly,
the other way of looking at this is they weren't acting out of kindness. They thought you were 3 escaped people.
I heard it on the radio.
They were doing it out of fear.
One of them,
you like to approach or anger these 3 people.
Yeah. If one of these comes up and says, "Ladies and gentlemen, coming up next, Peter Sutcliffe."
Just laugh.
Yeah.
Have you heard the one about the prostitute? No, Peter, come on.
Can you imagine if it had been Rob doing his what's the name show, doing the Evil Dead show, and he turns up and he's got a chainsaw?
Oh my God!
So when you went to like deposit
and a severed head.
Yeah.
When you went to had their mum phoned ahead and explained, or did you go in with a cold open?
No, the mum's understanding of it was that she had cancelled the gig and told us. So what was happening was she had messaged Savage to say it's off, and then he had subsequently messaged Savage to say, no, ignore that, it's definitely back on. So she had thought, I've cancelled the comedians, I've cancelled the gig, we don't need to worry about it. And then in the meantime, unbeknownst to her,
she very much needed to worry about it.
After you'd all discovered that you were doing the comedy and he was the juice was loose, what did the mum not go, I'll phone the hospital and let them know that I know where? Or did you go, they'll bring it back?
She'd been in contact with the hospital because when we contacted her, I think it's possible the hospital had contacted her because
her son was missing.
Yes, but also I think they had thought that he might try and make his way.
Yeah.
Back, I think because they obviously then the hospital didn't know. They were confused as to how he'd got out of the grounds.
You're on CCTV somewhere.
B-roll of us bowling out of the thing because he got in the car, and obviously the promoter of the gig, you don't want to do stuff out of further work by upsetting. So when they get in the car and say we're in a rush, lads, go, you go.
Out of there.
Screamed off that car.
And with your suits at the windows, you'd essentially blacked them out.
Yeah, and you look like,
Yeah.
and you know, and also it's amazing. Like, as much as you might think now, it's easy to sit there and think, "Well, I'm amazed no one sort of said anything." But people don't say things, do they? These things happen like more often than you'd think, and it's because people think, "Well, there's probably a reason," and then this story vanishes into the night.
You think like it can't possibly be that. Like that can't be happening.
I'm here to tell you, sometimes it's that. And
I've got sympathy with the entertainment they booked to replace you. Like some poor magician is halfway through like a sleight of hand trick, and then
ding dong.
Turn up and
it would have been a different. Well, I don't know what would have happened really if they'd if they had rebooked some like talent to come and do. Do you know what I mean? If they turned up suddenly when there's like a group singing, we're like, "Were you comedian?" Oh, I think again, any other thing, it would have one more thing before we started, and we would have possibly not done it. It was just enough, like glimmer of doubt for us to think, is this the weirdest gig we've done? Perhaps. Is it weirder than we prepared to admit? No, because you do weird gigs in weird.
Gig's a gig.
Gig.
Did Paul do a set as well, or was it just you? And then you discovered the secret, and then you were like, "Well, we better fucking get out of here." Then.
My of it is that he didn't do a set, but I might be wrong about that, or he might have done his. In fact, I think he did do a set. I think, but a very much of a short.
Yeah.
You see, he's in a no-win situation there, isn't he? Because he's either got to do a set, shitting his pants, like literally. Oh my god! There's going to be attack helicopters coming over in a bit. The SAS are going to come down, right? Or he's going to come across as someone who's like, "Well, I'm here now. I'm doing me set."
Yeah, everybody shut up and listen to me talk. I know we just broke this guy out of jail.
Can
basically.
I just say,
I've not driven 3 hours.
Paul Savage is a lovely, lovely human being as well.
These things not exactly that, but these things do happen to him though. Like these things do happen to him.
Can I ask, just for the vision of my story, what colour were the suits?
Mine was it was a sort of charcoaly grey, like not a pre-show host special.
Like a
Brown
wedding
sugar black.
It was a suit you'd wear to the office, though. It wasn't a showbiz suit.
Because I've met Paul Savage, and knowing, obviously I don't know how tall you are in compared to Paul, comparison to Paul Savage, but there must have been a point where you two in potentially black suits, where now I want to say audience, I feel like more it's hostages, had sat there and gone, maybe they're like a Blues Brothers tribute. Because I could totally see you as Jake.
They're a mission from God.
The police being after them.
Yeah.
I am considerably a way less tall than Savage. I still am wider. I'm not as wide as I was then. Then I was considerably wider than Savage.
It's everything I've ever wanted.
So pure Belushi.
Like George and Lenny, really.
How much? The true act of being Belushi was how much cocaine was in your system at the time?
No. In fact, if I wanted them, any more narcotics would have been a blessing, because the one thing that possibly would have matters there is if some of us were at least a little, just a touch of blow to keep everybody.
Just a smidge.
Just a soup song.
Wow.
A kind of wafer thin cooking.
Yeah.
I've got the line in my head now. It's 106 miles to Wolverhampton. Take a gas and a pack of cigarettes.
The final detail is if ever you do it to see or to get right a reply, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm fairly certain that because the guy got very cold, which apparently is like one of the things that they withdraw them in, I'm fairly certain that Paul Savage lent him his jacket and that he didn't get it back. So that's
no!
the perfect end to the story. and I didn't even come on with all my clothes. I feel like he remembered it about Hamworth and thought, I'm not driving back up there.
Yeah. I'm not getting back in contact. No way.
You can't phone that. You can't be like, hello, asylum.
Yeah. Oh, hello. It's me, one of the people who broke in.
Yeah, Jeremy literally stole your patient.
I know this is bad for, but can I have my jacket back?
If not, I'll take the top off and some scrubs.
Just wondering, did you eat the pizzas, or are there any hanging around?
I'm a big fan of cheese.
Because we've got a long drive, and
all of these. Do you know at the end of an episode like a murder mystery, or at the end of Usual Suspects, where you can hear like a montage of going back through all the clues, and then you're like the pizza.
That was weird.
You know what it's like. You know the end of Goodfellas.
Yes.
Like lost all his faculties a bit and being chased through the streets of LA by helicopters. It's exactly like that.
He got like we were driving down the road, and we started out every part of the story we would like completely thought was not part of the story. We were like, I wonder if I to that pizza without turning up. I wouldn't have been able to get it. You know what I mean? We're like,
Can I just point out as well the criminal mastermind of the way he set that up was genius.
Oh, it is.
I mean, there are
the Italian job.
Yeah, there are hardened criminals who have broken out of jail who may be watching this now going, that's what we forgot to do wrong. If we'd have got...
I wonder what his game plan, if he had a game plan for after the gig, when you'd be like, right, so
I don't know.
Do you know in early modern times when you could hide in a church and the law
you get
wasn't
sanctuary,
allowed to get you?
yeah.
That was he
Screaming from the bell towers, sanctuary!
Singing that song by the Cult.
Yeah. I can only imagine there was a point in the evening after all this, he was like, I'll definitely book you again. And you two were like, we're really busy.
Please don't.
I haven't told you the date yet. So very busy.
Don't ever book me. Actually, I've decided to quit stand-up comedy forever. And this is my swan song.
I now whittle spoons in the woods.
Yeah, I've gone off grid. Don't try and contact me ever.
Last night, message I left Emma, my partner. The last text I sent her was, just waiting for the lad now to come. He was at the hospital, just waiting for him to come out. No more. Got back home. And she's like, "How was the gig?" I was like, "Oh."
Story for you.
Just sit down. We'll have a chat.
So the guy who was promoting it, who you broke out of a secure mental institution, was he just promoting it, or was he supposed to do his set as well?
I think that night he was promoting. He wasn't down to do a set. I think he had done stand up. I think, but I don't. I think he was more promoting than doing stand up, but I think he had done or I think I'm not sure. I'm not 100% sure. I think he had done stand up, but he definitely wasn't down. There was just me and Savage for that night.
I mean, let's be fair. He wasn't down to do anything.
No.
Yeah. He was playing by his own rules that evening.
Anyway, on any level, no. It was bizarre. And all subsequent bizarre road stories that have happened to me, and I've never had anything close to that. I've had odd experiences, but everything is judged against. Well, did you break someone out of a mental asylum?
No.
Yeah.
There's been one time I'm gonna go. Actually, but I was used as a decoy with giving some pizzas, and you were like,
yeah.
But do you know what I mean? Like that. The whole, all the pieces in the puzzle. I've often thought about maybe trying on Facebook, trying to get a reunion together and trying to get everybody involved. When they do a
we can get
where are they now?
Get Radio 4. We can do Radio 4 to do like a 10-year reunion.
Oh my god!
Just imagine the story for that pizza guy though. Because he must have gone to leave, and then they'd have done like a head count and gone, "No, get that pizza guy back.
Yeah,
We need to check his car."
check it out.
And he'd been like, "What the fuck?"
And in a
I'm
way,
just trying to deliver some cheesy goodness.
And he's got like he's not like the mate to pretend to be a pizza bloke. That pizza bloke had got like perfect plausible deniability. They could have had him hooked up to a polygraph. He'd be like, "Look, I'm just delivering pizza. I don't know."
Yeah.
Just do pizzas. I don't do breakouts. That's my other job. That's
It's not in my contract, mate. Not in my contract.
I'm not paid enough to break people out of places. I'm barely paid enough to deliver pizza.
I was going to say, yeah, minimum wage, minimum effort. You ain't breaking people out of nowhere.
Pizza, but no one's really had, you know.
Also, yeah.
Out of
What does
pocket.
he do now? Does he not just sit in his car with like 8 pizzas and go, "Do you know what? While they're doing an investigation, I'm going to whip out a meat feast. Nom 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 nom."
What about
And he's going to put it back where it belongs.
Look, if you don't want them, don't have them. Or yeah, your rules. You can't have them because you're a hospital. That's not really. But just imagine like
Just eats it directly from everyone. Nom nom nom.
I'm gonna go in, but I don't think they're elect. And then look, and imagine the personal reception. When like the bloke walks in with like a stack, and it was a stack of pizzas. Right? It wasn't like they'd ordered one. It was a stack of pizzas. It was enough pizza that some explanation was needed as to why.
Yeah. Why do you need like 10 of these? Yeah.
Everyone looking round at each other going, "Is it your birthday? It's not my birthday."
They're ringing around every department.
Get a calendar.
I love the idea. You know, there's always that bit in the Toy Story films where they do the blueprints.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh yeah.
there's that scene, like, exactly like that.
He was
How many pizzas? On average, how many pizzas would you need to stage a breakout?
yeah, because
Is that the sequel to How Many Roads Must a Man Walk Down Before You Can Call Him a Man?
no, because if you think about it, one pizza
Very similar.
one pizza probably wouldn't have got any kind of reaction from the staff.
No.
Yeah.
10 pizzas, like the
That's
people
an
on
event.
the people on
Yeah.
the door aren't gonna go, "That's wrong, send it back." They're gonna think, "Hang on, someone in this building might have ordered this." But then I assume the guy who you broke out is also going, "Well, I've only got so much money, so how many pizzas do I? How much do I
But
need
he
to
isn't
spend
paying.
on
We
pizzas?"
Unless they-
On that note, did you get paid for this gig?
No, we didn't.
Oh, you didn't
we
open
realised
to it.
midway through.
Spends all his money on pizza.
Midway through. I did get a bit of pizza on the way out, though. That was good.
Swish.
Hey,
You got paid in hot dogs?
But part way through, the issue of money had never been discussed because I don't think Paul had. I'm not sure if they talked about it, but once it became apparent that this wasn't really a gig, we thought about it was probably a bit much to say, "Hey, can we have a dip in the old collection plate on the way out?" Can I have one of the big candles? Them big candles. I want one of them. Yeah, no.
Well,
we
for
did
Christmas, you know, one of those the proper
no-
chunky bags. One of them.
I want a candle as
I think the
tall as I
word
am.
is
Can I have a sip from the font? Is that all right? Just...
You got any of them wafers? Okay, you got. I'm quite peckish.
I know you've got a load of wine back there. A
Give us a
load of
wave.
wine.
Have a glass of something fruity. Is that before we? Yeah.
Go just have a sip of Jesus before I go home. Is that?
Oh,
someone might want to click.
Have a sip of Jesus.
John, if you're there, you might want to click
A
that.
nibble of Christ.
Just a little nibble.
Just
A sip of Jesus. A nibble of Christ.
The blood of Christ.
yeah.
It tastes holy.
Mm.
That was easily your
Dead
most
breath,
eventful gig.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Was it the weirdest place you've done a gig though? Like in a church garden when there's a pig roast on?
Was it the weirdest place I've done a gig?
And this question is coming to you, Loftus, so get prepared.
I don't know.
Now, what's the weirdest place
Yeah,
you've done a
I
gig?
I did
Oh,
Oh,
Mike
we've
is
lost
gone.
Mike.
Oh, he's back.
Coming back.
Oh, he's back. He's back.
Hey!
Hey!
You
think-
you disappeared, Mike, and then you come back.
Oh, well, you all disappeared too, so I thought it was you lot.
One all.
You've moved as well now.
Yeah, you're in the corner.
Well, you know, I'm shape shifting.
Now I'm a rhombus.
I think probably I've done gigs. I've done a couple of gigs where I was at a person's birthday party. I was just a guest at the birthday party, and they said, "Will you do me a bit of stand up?" And the first time, stupidly, I went, "Yeah." And then literally this happened. They like got the mic and they're like, "Right, everyone, quiet now. Tom's going to talk." And no one there knew me. I knew the person whose birthday it was, but no one else knew. And so everybody was like, "Well, why have you been to the party? We don't get to see each other." And they all just sat there politely while I was like, "Oh, anyway, I'm Tom." And that was
They all go.
No.
Were they all like, "Are we not funny enough?"
It was
Do you need another funny friend?
That's probably like the weirdest I get. I've done a lot of gigs at obviously a lot of gigs at pubs and that. I did a gig with me and Rob did a gig at a cricket club where the average age, I mean, there was only about 6 people in the crowd, and the average age was at least in their 80s. And we were John Pearson was there as well. It was the weirdest gig. Like it was like we'd been booked for like an old people's home, but it wasn't. It was just, they were all really old. And then when we got in there, the last before we went on, we were all like, "There's a real possibility one of that crowd's going to die, and then there's only going to be 5 of them." I can't remember what he said. It was, I don't know if it was Rob or if it was John. Went, "I bet that's before I'll go on stage." Yes, that's sad about you. I've lost one of the crowd.
If you've enjoyed my set tonight, write me into your will.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Or just
yes, that's the way of going about it.
Yeah.
I once did a gig at the Irish Centre in Digbeth, and I knew I was onto a loser when I had to walk up the stairs, and I was walking behind an old woman, and it took her 20 minutes to walk up to the top of the stairs. And then someone says to her, "Are you here for the comedy night?" She went, "You what?" And I'm like,
"Oh no!"
And that was the audience for that gig. It was terrible.
I mean, I don't want to be that guy, but I'm just gonna say more ramps.
Yeah.
We wouldn't have that problem.
More ramps, less speed.
But I once did a gig for David Rees-Jones. Do you remember David Rees-Jones? No. He used to do some gigs over in Birmingham.
Why do I know
the Brown Lion in Jewelry Quarter?
No, I did a gig for him there, and it was fucking brilliant.
Was that the one that you like verbally assaulted the lady?
No.
That pause means yes. That pause means yes.
Right, I'll tell a story when you verbally assaulted the lady.
Well, she was gobby, wasn't she?
Yeah, but she was gobby, but not to the point where you needed to tell her to do what you told her to do.
One of the reasons.
Your first one,
no.
One of the reasons.
You went, "Will somebody stick a cock in that woman's mouth to shut her up?" I was going on next and went, "Oh no."
One of the reasons.
Dave.
One of the reasons I stopped doing stand-up is because I didn't like
because you weren't welcome back.
I became on stage. I have a very territorial attitude to the stage.
You do. You might as well have peed everywhere when you got on.
Yeah. And one thing that annoys me is hecklers who think they're funny. It's like, "You're funny, mate. I'll tell you what. Write a fucking 10-minute routine, get at the bottom of the fucking ladder, drive to Lincoln and break someone out of a mental institution, and do the fucking shit we've had to do. Don't sit in the fucking shadows yelling out wrong line."
I mean, Dave, we were in the Brown Line in the Jewelry Quarter, not Hammersmith Apollo. Let's calm ourselves down. But I've also done a birthday party, and haven't I, Dave?
Yes, you did my birthday party.
I did your birthday party, and I went on stage, and I came off, and then somebody walked up behind me and went, "I didn't realise you were funny, Stephanie." And I turned around, and it was my old history teacher, because Dave knows him.
Oh no!
Oh no!
Oh no!
It was a great night. That was.
It was a good night. It was a funny. I mean, I don't remember large portions of it. Once I got off stage, I was like, Cha-ching off the clock. Where's the bar? And I topped off, and then about an hour later, somebody had their top off at the back, and
that was Scott Ambrose.
There's a picture of me and Scott Ambrose with his top off. I had my top on, but he had his top off.
Decorum, nice.
Decorum, keeping standards.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I wouldn't say
you don't get this with poetry, do you?
You don't.
Do you know what? Having done like quite a few poetry gigs, it took me a long time to be in the right gear when I got to a poetry night, right? For a variety of reasons. For starters, you know that thing, and you are all lovely people, but you know that thing where you get like a group of comedians talking, and really no one is listening to anyone else. They're just waiting for a gap. That doesn't happen with poets, right? And so I suddenly realised, I was like, these people are really nice, and there's a lady there. She remembered what I said last time I spoke to her, and she remembered who I am, and she said hello, and this is all very nice. And I was totally in there. So the first time I did like a poetry, you could turn up, I was like, right, I'm going to show these bastards, I'll show them it's heartfelt and metrical, I'll show them. And then once it got started, I was like, oh, this is, and I mean, I had lots of laughs doing stand-up, and I do, and every now and again, I like, get asked to do bits and bobs, but like, I much prefer doing poetry gigs than doing stand up because I didn't like that that slightly that aggressive thing that
testosterone. The word you're looking for is testosterone.
Yeah, and I'm not that sort of person in any. I don't think I'm in that sort of in any sort of aspect of my life really. I've never been that guy, but I started to feel that when I was gigging, and I didn't like it. And I've sort of felt like I couldn't really work out a way to stop it happening, and so I sort of fell out of love with it because of that. I think really, I used to enjoy the gigs, but I couldn't do the beginning and after bit very well, unless there was with people I know, like obviously you, Dave, or Savage, or people I knew. And in the end, I ended up just really going around with people who I kind of already knew. I didn't do a lot of just going to gigs because I found it a bit dreary, and I always felt like I wish I hadn't got in the car and a bit. Do you know what I mean? It just didn't really agree with me.
Yeah. You've got very profound all of a sudden.
Oh yeah, sorry.
Yeah, it's all right.
Someone do a dick joke, quick.
I
thought you were going to do one then. When you went, hang on, let me think through my repertoire. Yeah.
Stand up is an odd beast.
Yeah.
It's, and I'm never really entirely sure why. There's a Daniel Kitson joke where he was talking about comedians sort of like organising together and like going on a march, and it'd be like, what do we want? I know what my 5-year plan is.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
Anyway, Hannah and I are sitting over here in the lovely improv community, which is really awesome and lovely.
Oh, there's absolutely no controversial personalities in the improv world at all.
But what it is, it's supportive.
Yeah,
I don't belong to any community now. I'm like some homeless person.
Oh. No,
you're in this community right here.
Someone take me in.
So you're not a homeless person because we pity them.
Oh, what I was going to say, weirdest gig. David Rhys-Jones.
Oh God.
He booked me at Chateau Impney in Droitwich. Is it Droitwich?
I never got invited.
Drove all the way there. He says, "Come and have a look at our little stage." Okay. And he showed me, and I shit you not, a boxing ring.
No.
Oh my God.
We were doing, and this was billed as 3 10-minute rounds of comedy.
No.
In a boxing ring.
Yes, please. I would fucking love that.
Right, while they were serving food.
Oh no! Oh, it was so good to the food bit. No, you don't serve
the
food.
UK Pun Championships does that. They have comedy in a kind of mock wrestling, in a mock boxing ring, and that's quite fun. You got an audience in the round. You can muck about with that a little bit, and they're serving food. Well, you're the second bill right now, aren't you?
Exactly.
No matter what happens.
Exactly.
You've lost to a plate of scampi and chips. You've immediately lost.
Yeah. I've
No one is
seen.
funnier
Did
than
you not just want?
I've seen gigs
Did you
where
not just want a
go
cup
on, Mike.
of tea? Did you not just want a cup of tea? Like, you know, I should assume you've like driven a while. Not just
Can't have
at
tea
least,
after
like,
a journey to a gig.
some
Settles you down. You need to
I
be
always
hyped.
have tea before improv. Yeah.
Do you? You feel too
nice
relaxed?
tea.
I have tea, I'm ready for a nap.
Yeah,
Especially that biscuit brew, Dave. Oof,
Oh,
the bomb diggity.
yeah. I know it's good, isn't it? Yeah. Whenever I in fact, that was kind of when I knew to quit stand up was when you go all the way somewhere. You have like a pint of not very good beer. You do a gig, you have a good gig, and you come off stage going, yeah.
Yeah, it's a weird one. Actually, I've just thought of the weirdest gig, like the weirdest place ever to gig. I went to Whitney in Oxfordshire to do a gig, which turned out to be organised by the Green Party candidate just before the 2010 general election.
David Cameron's constituency.
That's David Cameron's constituency. So I went there and did a gig. Now, as you'll know, spoilers, the Green Party candidate did not win the seat in Oxfordshire. But not due to lack of effort on my part. But how different the country would have been if I'd managed to help seat David Cameron.
Imagine.
I mean, the person who swears she's not a Tory immediately knew that was David Cameron's.
I'm very interested in politics, Stephanie.
Okay. It's David Cameron's constituency.
Did you watch?
I know the other ones as well. Gordon Brown is like Cowden Beef.
It took you a while to think about that.
I couldn't pronounce it. It's Capaldi and Cowden Beef.
It's very nice, Whitney, Oxfordshire. I'll say that. It was less nice once we've been there briefly.
Brought the tone down a bit.
Well, everyone who you imagine would be at a Green Party funded political stand-up night was there. I think there was nobody in Whitney, Oxfordshire who wasn't a Green Party supporter in the room, and there was about 20. It was a bit of a shame, really. I don't think he posed much threat, really. But he was a very nice man. But, but that was very odd because you very much got the impression it was like doing a gig in like a post-apocalyptic world where the world had just fallen to pieces. It was just like a collection of people who survived somehow. Like, well, that was weird, wasn't it?
Do you mean like now, Tom? Like now?
Not now, yeah. Like now.
Right, yeah.
I miss people.
Yeah,
we're living through such a boring dystopia, aren't we? It's the most boring thing.
However, we'll be taught in history books.
Yeah.
In 20 years, if I'm still teaching, if they still allow me, like there's every chance. After all the stories I've told on here, like there is a case file being built ready to write for a funeral. Like, I could potentially be teaching this.
Do you reckon we'll be referenced?
Personally,
I'm going to show all of these videos. Whether I should or not.
As pioneers of podcasters in the COVID era.
Yeah, because we nobody else thought to do a podcast during COVID.
I said I'm the only stand-up comedian in Britain who doesn't do a podcast. It was just me.
That's true.
I think the only way we're gonna get written about and noticed is if one of us goes on a killing spree and then turns the gun on themselves. And
I mean, to be fair, after the day I've had,
if you can write the name of the show in your sort of lonely house before you go.
Why is it got to be lonely?
It's got to be, hasn't it?
Oh, that's used.
But if you can write it on a wall.
And I went lonely, and Dad thought that would be used to.
I didn't go. Oh, I think you'll find. All I'm saying is, where's the glory in then turning the gun on yourself? No. It's far more glorious and a lot better for ratings.
I want to be dragged through the streets.
Yeah, if we're
kicking and screaming, going, "I do it again."
Stream a lot during the trial.
Yeah.
Mention us through the trial, boom. That's how you get publicity. Not through that'd
be good. Yeah.
Do you reckon they'd let me scream in from prison?
Yes.
Probably.
If someone in an asylum can end up doing a comedy gig in Lincoln, we can get you streaming from prison.
text Allsop while you're in there. He'll probably get you out.
I'll get
You
you
need
out.
to order it
What
absolutely.
you gonna do, Steffi? You've got to order a shit of pizza.
That's where I would fall down as a criminal mastermind, because I'd be like, I could just eat a bit of it before I escape, like, because it's right there. I'd be like, and it smells like that smell of cheese. I'd be like, there's a stuffed crust on that one. Like, I'd be like, well, I'll just have this one, and then I'd miss my window and be like, oh shit.
If it were me, it'd be like.
Everyone's gone. No, not everyone on here. Sorry.
Honestly. Just like a bit of cheese, like.
I'll try again next week.
If it me, I'd be like, no soup, because that's too wobbly and spill it everywhere.
I've got visions of Hannah going, next week we'll order Chinese.
Yeah. And then I'd just be like, well, I just have a couple of dumplings before. And then it's like, oh, God damn it.
It's okay. What are we going to order next week? What would you order the week after?
Wedges and pizza, so you roll one into t'other.
Oh.
And I definitely wouldn't be escaping.
You've done that before, haven't you? It was with wedges.
I'd be having a little nap.
Wedges, yeah.
I'd be having a little carb nap. I'd be like, just covered in. Oh no, not again!
Isn't she trying to break out? Yeah, she's been doing it for the last 6 weeks. Don't worry, she's going to be going to carbs, sleep. It's fine. Don't worry.
We've started ordering it for her now.
How do you get out? I don't know how you get out. I get out like this.
Oh dear me! What a crazy night.
She's got visions of Hannah sleep covered in noodles. Like a weird, like, is it American Beauty?
It's like surrounded by katsu curry, like, oh.
with like Pizza Express dough balls just floating in them.
Noodles like that. Like, what's that?
I would 100% do that as well. If you ever don't hear from me for a few weeks, that's where I am.
Like in Madagascar, when Alex sees Marty as a steak.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I now need to go watch that film again because
I've been meaning to watch A Bug's Life for the last 3 weeks.
Nah,
oh my god, that's one of the best.
Mike, what stopped you?
Yeah, what stopped you?
I'm just watching a lot at the moment.
What are you watching?
I just nearly finished the first series of Handmaid's Tale.
Oh, it's so good. It's so good.
I've started watching.
Not the greatest time to start watching a series about a dystopian future, I have to say. Yeah. But no,
I think that's why I haven't watched it yet, because I'm just like, I just need something light.
Yeah, I need the good life. That's what I need.
Yeah. I've started watching Modern Family on repeat.
I started watching my box set of the news. I'm up to the 1970s, and wow, all I'm saying is I did not know that. I thought the Suez Crisis was quite like whoa, gripping. I'm just binging it the whole way through now because 3-day week. What the fuck? Madness.
Yeah. Oh wow, you got to the blackout season.
Yeah, I got to the blackout series. It's so exciting.
How's everyone feeling about season 2 of EastEnders?
See, now I'm embarrassed to say what I've been binge watching because it makes me. No, but like because I have Disney Plus. And I found all the old Kim Possible cartoons. So I was like, and there's a movie? That's like 3 weeks of my life I don't need.
Is Courage the Cowardly Dog streaming anywhere?
What's that?
You never watched Courage the Cowardly Dog?
Have you watched All Dogs Go to Heaven?
No, don't ever talk about that. Everyone shut up.
Whoa!
No.
The cartoon All Dogs Go to Heaven, it's wonderful.
It's the saddest film ever.
It's not. I need to talk about different things. Like they come back as like angels.
No.
Lucky angels.
Oh well, I don't need
There's a
to
whole
watch
website
it
you can go on where you can check whether films have got the dog dies in it. It's called something like doesthedogdie.com or something. And you can check before you watch a film, so you can be like, no, I'm not fucking watching it.
Oh, okay.
Well,
That's me.
that is a rule.
What
in
about like
script
films
writing.
like
Spoil
Cujo?
the
Because he
whole
kind of
movie,
deserves
yeah.
it by the end.
That they always say in script writing that you should never kill the dog, but lots of people do.
Yeah.
And everyone's far more
Yeah, it's
outraged
a
by the
hobby.
dog. You could kill anyone in a film, and
Yeah.
people are like, meh. And then you kill the dog, and then you need like a week off work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like if you've got a dog, if you meet another person, or if you're out walking and you meet a person who's also got a dog, you will forgive any behaviour as long as they've got it's the only like if you could be walking through a forest with a severed head in a bag, but if you've got a dog on a lead in the other hand, people are like, you seemed all right. You've got a dog.
Yeah.
What a dog?
His dog was really cute.
By us, everyone knows the dogs, but not the people. So like you're like dog name's Dad. Do you know what I mean? They're like,
Oh yeah.
That's Fluffy's dad there. That's so and so.
Oh.
I'm not. I am. You know, it's fine, but I'm not really. It's not a. Yeah, no.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm like, everyone's like, oh, we know your dog. I'm like, well, I'm also, I feed the dog and I pay the dog bills. So,
Yeah.
my name's Tom. How about you? I'm up here.
How's the dog? No, I didn't catch your name. How's the dog?
Yeah, You were
Is
what?
the dog all right?
Sorry,
Yeah.
from the
No
man
cat.
who spent the entire show stroking a cat.
Yeah, I was gonna say, Adam.
Yeah,
Yeah,
my cat is Orly. So
What's wrong with your cat?
she's got a sprained ankle, we think. Fuck off.
Oh,
She's been limping all right.
Right, this is what cats do, right?
No,
Oh,
cats do is make my life full again.
Cats like, oh no, I can't. No, I can't. Like a dog will walk around on a broken leg for 6 weeks, not now.
And then they'll die,
All right,
whereas
all
cats
right.
go, oh no, I have a sense of self-preservation. Limp, 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 limp.
Yeah.
Whereas dogs are like, I'm all my legs are broken, boundy. I'm still trying to hug you though.
I was
Love them to pieces. Love
I'm
them
not
to
paying
pieces.
for this myself. That's a broken leg. I'm not putting that down. I'm just going to put it on a pillow until you check you've got your insurance sorted out.
I went out on a
what happened
walk
today.
at the weekend.
I went, today I saw her limping and went, oh, okay, I'm not seeing that. Just update the insurance. Yeah, good. Oh no, she's limping. I'm covered.
I went out on a walk at the weekend and I was sitting on a bench looking at a view like, this is nice, I'm outside, look at me. And then these two little dogs came up and they were sat in front of me and they were looking at me unexpectedly and I was like, oh my God, they want to be my friends, that's so cool. I'm like, hi friend dogs. And then the man came down the path like, oh yeah, sorry, that's the biscuit bench, they get the biscuits when they get to that bench. And the dogs were literally looking at me like, feed me now, where's the biscuit? Now, feed me. And I was like, oh my God, they want to be my friend. Oh no, they want the food that I don't have.
That's brilliant. They want me. They want me. Like if she doesn't get off our bench in a minute, I'm gonna eat.
I'm already just sat in the woods by myself on a bench. Like, this is great. I'm having a great pandemic, everyone.
I mean,
Were you there to meet a USSR agent? Just so you know.
The woman walks at midnight.
No, but the dog owner was there to meet a USSR agent, and
maybe
that's the biscuit bench.
I should have replied like,
You should have said there are no biscuits in a blackout, and then
yeah. Whereas I
day,
just went,
Eagle, man.
oh, that's why they're looking at me expectantly, not because they want my love.
and he was going, I don't know that one. Is that is that a new book? I don't know what that sounds like.
Oh, we've been
You're all
married.
on me
Quick,
screen.
we can leave straight after.
Launch the missile.
You're all on my screen at once. This is very exciting.
Oh.
Isn't it? Oh, you're not now.
Quick, do something to impact the bandwidth.
Mikey and his dial-up. Right, that's been lovely. Ladies and gentlemen, Tom Allsop.
Yay!
That's great. I'm so chuffed you came on. That's a brilliant story.
wow.
So thank you, sir. We're doing this again next week, I think. Are we?
Oh no, I need to think of a story.
So we need to think of stories. Tom, if you know of anyone else who could come on and do some stories, let us know.
I do.
I mean, not now.
I think. Have you had? Have you had anyone now?
You and Rob.
Just me and Rob. I'll have a think. And I'll let you know.
Yeah,
I'll get our people real story.
Yeah, there's bound to be.
You know what we could do? I'll tell Savage to come on, but don't tell him and get him to tell this story again.
You can hear it from the other side. That'd be so good.
Yeah, that'd be
Just
great.
start telling it. We'll be like, "Oh my god, were you breaking him out of a mental asylum?" Like, what? And like before he said it, like.
And then it's got to in a bit of car. Had you got loads of pizza? Oh, yeah.
Elaborate prank I've ever played. Yeah.
Or he comes on and goes, "What?" And
Yeah,
doesn't know
that never
anything about it.
He's blanked it out.
It was. Yeah,
It was totally broke out of the mental
I just
asylum.
need to remind myself of Black Ops myself. There was no Paul Savage. I am Paul Savage. Tom's going to talk about Paul Savage in the third person as though it's not him. So just nod along. When he says Paul Savage, he means himself. It's like, I've got pictures.
Kind of Durden situation.
So yes, that's been lovely. I'm going to stop the recording now for the YouTube. So everybody wave goodbye. Bye everyone.
Bye.
Bye. See you